Hi, welcome to Fun and Friends. I am Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jasmine.
And welcome to the channel.
Welcome.
So to start off, we are working on the second book of School for Good and Evil, and we had a lot of requests for us to do this, and we were going to put it off until a little bit later, but just because we had so many requests pouring in, we are going to do some of it. But we won't have a set schedule just because right now it's really hard for all of us to get together. I'm a teacher. It's nearing the end of the school year, so it's hard to find time in between planning events. She's in school. Sabrina's in school. She's doing...
And working and volunteering for masters. So.
Yeah, and Jasmine's just got a crazy schedule.
Yeah, her work schedule is unpredictable.
So we're going to try and upload when we can.
Please don't get mad.
Please don't get mad if, you know, it's been a little bit because
we're trying.
We're trying.
Jobs.
Right? It's hard to get 3 people together in the same room when we're all adults, and it's very chaotic.
Yes.
Don't grow up. It's trap.
Yes. Anyway, so we are going to start with chapter 1, maybe chapter 2 today. We'll see how much we can get done and uploaded. Anyway, other things, any new announcements that we have? Let's see here. Do you have anything new?
We're still trying to get to 100 subscribers. We have that 100 giveaway for everyone. So just keep subscribing to this channel specifically so we can have our giveaway for everybody because it is pretty cool. And I think whoever wins it will definitely want it. So keep subscribing. Have your friends subscribe. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
Just, I would say definitely share the links.
Yes.
Let your friends know about it.
For sure. And join us in our conversation as we're discussing. Put your commentary down below so we can read it. Because we do read every comment. And we do reply back to every comment. So,
well, not every comment, but most comments.
Most.
And then
I do anyways. Also,
starting into the second book, I bought the second book for myself. So this is actually a brand new book. I haven't actually read the second book of this series, so
which is nice.
All this commentary will be fresh and new and stuff.
Surprises for all of us.
Surprises for all of us.
I like that.
So anyway, without further ado, Jasmine, can you please give us the recap of book number 1?
All right, so in book number 1, Sophie and Agatha came from the town of Galvadon. And in that town, they realized that children get kidnapped every 4 years, 2 of them particularly, and they always ended up in fairy tales. What's going on?
Chewy, just go.
Oh, and these children always appeared as a hero or a villain. And
hence School of Good and Evil.
Yes. So Agatha and Sophie get taken away, except for Sophie, who thought she'd end up in the School of Good, actually winds up in the School of Evil, and Agatha in the School of Good. And while they both very much did not fit into the schools that they were in, as the storyline progressed, Sophie's evil side started showing through. You know, she was very vain.
She had the wart.
So she started getting... Her appearance started becoming more ugly as her personality
She also killed a wolf.
and actions became more ugly. Yes, with her evil actions like murdering a wolf. That poor wolf.
Poor baby.
And then as the story progresses, Agatha kind of starts to realize that she was not as bad as she thought, because she didn't want to go to the School of Evil. She's not evil, she just wanted what was best for her best friend. So she tried even helping Sophie get the prince of her dreams, and that fell through on Sophie's end. That's all her fault. Anyway, but chaos ensues, and down the road, Sophie ended up... the headmaster ended up saying that he was in love with Sophie, but Sophie... realized that as a villain, they don't get love. So he tried to kill Agatha, and Sophie ends up being the one who dies. And it's Agatha's kiss that brings Sophie back.
Because it's like friendship.
Because it's a friendship.
True love for someone.
Friendship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's see where this book goes.
Oh, and Agatha's true love is
Tedros.
I feel like that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good Sophie.
Job. Thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Sophie makes a wish. There's an uneasiness that remains after your best friend tries to kill you, but as Agatha gazed out at her and Sophie's garden statues towering over the sun-speckled square, she swallowed it away. I don't know why it has to be a musical, she said, sneezing from the carnations on her pink dress. No sweating in your costumes, Sophie barked at a boy struggling in a ferocious plaster dog head, while the girl roped him in and stumbled around on her own cuddly dog head. Sophie caught two boys labeled Chadwick and Revan, trying to swap outfits. No switching schools either! But I want to be an Ever, Revan groused and pulled at his dumpy black tunic. My wig itches, meowed Beatrix, clawing at her blonde hairpiece. Mommy doesn't know it's me, whined a boy at the schoolmaster's shiny silver mask. And no sulking about parts, Sophie boomed, branding Dot on the blacksmith's daughter before stuffing 2 chocolate ice pops in her hands. You need to gain 20 pounds by next week. I said it'll be... you said it'd be small.
Thanksgiving every day to gain 20 pounds.
Right? You need to gain 20 pounds by next week. Please eat more chocolate. Diabetes. You said it'd be small, Agatha said, eyeing a boy teetering on a ladder as he painted 2 familiar green eyes on the massive theater marquee. Something tasteful for the anniversary. Is every boy in this town a tenor? Sophie squawked, inspecting the males with these very same eyes. Surely someone's voice has changed. Surely someone can play Tedros, the most handsome, charming prince in the... She turned to find a red-haired, buck-toothed Radley in tight breeches puffing his chest. Sophie gagged and stamped him. Port. This doesn't seem small, Agatha said louder, watching 2 girls pull the canvas off the ticket booth with 20 neon Sophie faces silk screen across it. And it doesn't seem tasteful. Lights, Sophie said, as 2 boys suspended from ropes. Agatha spun from the blinding detonation through fingers she peeked up at the velvet curtain behind them, embedded with 1,000 white-hot bulbs spelling out Curses, the musical, starring, written, directed, and produced by Sophie.
I'm glad her personality hasn't left the building because God forbid we just tone it down a little bit.
This has to be extra.
Sophie's
Agatha
world.
was like, can we keep this small? And Agatha's Sophie's
I want to know where Ted wrote it, where the real
he
Ted
is.
Rose is, and how he got out of acting in this performance.
I know. You think Sophie would really let him get away? I don't know.
Agatha probably took pity on him and was like, you can stay out of this. It's okay.
Go do an important mission, quick!
Is it too dull for the finale? Sophie said, whirling to Agatha in a midnight blue ball gown with delicate gold leaves, a ruby pendant around her neck, and a tiara of blue orchids.
That
reminds me.
Cinderella's dress in the live action one.
Yeah.
Without the
but
gold,
it's not midnight blue though, but yeah.
It
reminded me of I was thinking more Anastasia. Her
Which
elegant.
one, the yellow one?
No,
Or
the
the
dark
one?
blue one.
Oh,
in the,
yeah,
in the opera house.
Yeah. And that's more slim fitting. I don't think this one would be.
That's true. Sophie's more of
So
a
that's
ball
like-
gown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that color, the
Yeah,
dazzling, midnight
That
blue with
color.
the sparkles.
But Cinderella's dress style. Yeah.
Agatha swelled a tick. You've lost your mind. You said it would be a tribute to the kidnapped children, not the same fairground burlesque. I can't act, I can't sing, and here we are having a dress rehearsal for a vanity show that doesn't seem to have a script. What is that? She pointed at the red sash of red crystals across Sophie's dress. Ball queen. Sophie stared at her. You don't expect to tell our story, how it happened, do you? Agatha scowled. Oh, Agatha, if we celebrate ourselves, who else will? If we don't celebrate ourselves, who else will? Sophie moaned, looking
She's
at
not wrong, but it's just in the wrong light, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, goodness.
But the other thing is, you should do it how it happened, not just, rewrite history.
To make you look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's part of her vanity right there.
Maybe
It
she
would
doesn't-
be Sophie.
She doesn't want to take credit for all the bad things that she did. She's like,
Also,
It reminds me-
she's a narcissist.
It reminds me of someone we know in real life.
Oh, Agatha, if we don't celebrate ourselves, who else will? Sophie moaned, looking out at the giant amphitheater. We're the Galvadon Curse Breakers, the Schoolmaster Slayers, larger than life, greater than legend. So where's our palace? Where's our slaves? On our anniversary of our kidnapping for this odious...
Did she really want slaves?
Yep.
Apparently... On our anniversary of a kidnapping from this odious town, they should adore us. They should worship us. They should bow down instead of trolling around with fat, badly dressed widows. Her voice thundered across empty wooden seats. She turned to find her friends studying her. The elders gave us permission, didn't they? Said Agatha. Sophie's face darkened. She spun quickly and started handing sheet music to the cast. When is this? Agatha asked. Sophie didn't answer. Sophie, when is this? The day after the show, Sophie said, sprucing the garlands on the giant altarpiece. But we might change once we get an encore. Why? What's in the encore? I'm fine about it, Aggie. I've made my peace. Sophie, what's in the encore? He's a grown man, free to make his own decisions. And this show has nothing to do with trying to stop your father's wedding. Sophie twirled. Why would you ever think that? Agatha glared.
Wait, I'm lost. Did they go back to their town?
They're at their town and they're putting on a play.
Okay.
About their time away.
But Sophie is trying to change it so that apparently they're back.
Because they won the competition of good and evil.
Okay.
So you're allowed to go back.
Well, he said that he would send her back.
Yeah, that was the point. Okay. Okay.
So I guess they went back.
Well, see how long that lasts.
Not long. That's why they can't find Ted Rose.
And then now her dad, Sophie's dad is
getting married apparently, yes.
So Agatha?
Well, we'll find out right now.
I think.
What?
It doesn't say that. It just said you're assuming.
Yeah.
Does Agatha even have a mom?
Yeah, it's her.
Yeah, the mom that lived in the.
Oh yeah.
In the little cottage.
And
was it a cottage? I thought it was like a creepy house in the hill in the cemetery.
Nice and cemetery.
Yeah.
I mean,
nice and cozy.
They're all cottages.
Agatha twirled. Why ever would you think that? Agatha glared at the fat homeless hag slouched in a veil under the altar, stamped Honora. Sophie shoved Agatha's music. If I were you, I'd be learning how to sing. When they returned from the woods 9 months before, the hubbub had been frightening. After 200 years, the schoolmaster had kidnapped children from Galvadon to his school for good and evil. But after so many children lost forever, so many families torn apart, 2 girls had found their way back. People wanted to kiss them, touch them, build statues for them, as if they were gods fallen to earth. To satisfy demand, the Council of Elders suggested they hold a supervised autograph signing in the church after Sunday services. The questions never changed. Did they torture you? Are you sure the curse is broken? Did you see my son? Sophie offered to endure these on her own, but to her surprise, Agatha always showed. Indeed, in those first months, Agatha did daily interviews for the town scroll. Let Sophie dress her up and slather her with makeup and politely endured the young children her friend loathed. Totems of disease, Sophie grumbled, dabbing her nostrils with eucalyptus before signing another storybook. She noticed...
He just wants to be affectionate.
It's fun with friends. You gotta have the furry.
I know.
Yeah.
And he is the best friend.
You gotta come sit here so we can see you in the show.
Lay down, Bubba. Good boy.
If
they want to see you. You're a celebrity.
If we gave him the choice, he would lay across all 3 of us.
Oh, you can.
Go for it, kid.
Come on, Jim. Over here. Come on. There you go. Go lay down.
Lay down. There we go. Hi, handsome. That's my microphone.
He's trying to say hi to everybody.
Yes. Hi, handsome.
Let's see, I lost my spot. Indeed, in those first months, Agatha did daily interviews for the scroll, let Sophie dress her up and slather her with makeup, and politely endured the young children her friend loathed. Totems of disease, Sophie grumbled, dabbing her nostrils with eucalyptus before signing another book. She noticed Agatha smile at a boy as she autographed a copy of King Arthur. Since when do you like children? Sophie growled. Since they beg to see Mother when they're sick now, said Agatha, flashing lipstick stains on her teeth. Never had so many patients in her life. But by summer, the crowd had thinned. It was Sophie's idea to do posters. The Curse Breaker live this Sunday. Free kiss with an autograph.
Chewy will like to do the kissing today.
Yes.
Chewy would do the kisses. Agatha gaped at the sign on the church door. Free kiss on their storybook, Sophie said, puckering garnished red lips to the pocket mirror. That's not what it sounds like, said Agatha,
It's not.
pulling at the clingy green dress Sophie had loaned her. Pink had noticeably disappeared from her friend's closet after they returned, presumably because it reminded her of her time as a bald, toothless witch. Look, we're old news, Agatha said, yanking at the dress straps again. Time to go back to normal like everyone else. Maybe it should just be me this week. Sophie's eyes flicked up from the mirror. Perhaps they sense your lack of enthusiasm. But no one except Smelly Radley showed up on Sunday or next week when Sophie's posters hawked an intimate gift with every autograph, or the next when she promised a private dinner, too. By the fall, the missing signs in the square had come down. The children had shoved their storybooks in their closets, and Mr. DeVille put the last days sign in the shop window, for no new fairy tales had come out from the woods to sell them. Now the girls were the last two fossils of the curse. Even Sophie's father had stopped treading gently. On Halloween, he told his daughter he had received the elder's permission to marry Honora. He never asked for Sophie's. As she hurried from rehearsal through a hard, ugly rain, Sophie glowered at her once shining statues, spotted and runny with bird droppings. She had worked hard for it. A week of snail egg facials, cucumber juice fasts, so the sculptor would get her face just right. And there it was, a toilet for pigeons. As most statues are.
So what's the mother-to-be stepmom?
Honora. I don't think that we
have established who that actually is yet.
Yeah. I don't think that we know who she is.
Okay.
Really. She glanced back at her painted face beaming from the distant theater marquee and gritted her teeth. The show would remind her father who came first. The show would remind them all. As she splashed out of the square towards soddy cottage lanes, trails of smoke wafted from chimneys, and Sophie knew what each family was having for dinner. Breaded pork with mushroom gravy in Wilhelm's house. Beef and potato cream soup in Belle's. Bacon lentils and pickled yams in Sabrina's. And food...
And me?
Yeah, in Sabrina's. You're having
in
bacon...
Sabrina's.
Yeah. So you're having bacon lentils and pickled yams.
That's what I'm hosting. That's what I'm bringing.
Do you know how to cook this?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I was like, I like yams, but I don't think I would have them pickled.
No.
Yeah, I would have them with the little mashed potatoes on top.
Yeah. I also like baconized things, but I don't think I'd like baconized lentils.
Actually,
it's
they're
really
good. That one's
pretty
actually
good.
Probably, out of the two of them, I would probably pick the bacon lentils.
Yeah, same.
The food her father loved and never could have. Good. Let him starve for all she cared. As she walked up her lane to her own house, Sophie inhaled for the smell of a cold, empty kitchen, a smell that reminded her father of what he'd lost. Only now the kitchen didn't smell empty at all. Sophie inhaled again. A smell of meat and milk, and she felt herself running to the door. She threw it open. Honora hacked at raw pork ribs. Sophie, she patted, wiping her plump hands. I had to close at Bartleby's. I could use some help. Sophie stared through her. Where's my father? Honora tried to fix her bushy, flower-crusted hair. Putting up the tent with the boys. I thought it would be nice if we all got together and... Tent? Sophie charged for the back door. Now? She barreled into the garden. In gusty rain, the widow's two boys each manned a rope-down stake, while Stefan tried to loop the billowing white tent. See, I was always a Damon girl, so...
I like Stefan all through high school, then I kind of go back and forth between the two now. But.
Okay, let's be real. There's a difference between the book storyline and the acting.
100%.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's read the books. Have you read the books?
Okay. I thought you guys read the first book.
We read the first
Oh,
one.
yeah!
We didn't read the second
I
one.
forgot about that.
They do a good job
was our
of
first
keeping
book.
Damon an asshole in
In the
books.
In the movies,
I think
everyone was like, okay, Damon's a lot hotter, so we're just going to play that up.
Yep.
I think they realized that.
So many cool things happen in the books that didn't get to happen in the storyline.
Mm.
And they changed way honestly, from the first 3 chapters, so much was changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, even the characters themselves were completely different. Anyway, back to this book. Wrong book. If you want to read about Vampire Diaries, you can read the old books. The old books.
Your
We did it
first
a while
book
ago.
you
My
guys
first
did.
book that we did.
Yes.
Anyway, Stefan tried to loop the billowing white tent around the third, but just as Stefan succeeded, the tent ripped away, burying him and the 2 boys beneath it. Sophie could hear them giggling before her father poked his head out from underneath the canvas. Just what we need, a 4th. Why are you putting the tent up? Sophie said, ice cold. The wedding is next week. Stefan stood tall and cleared his throat. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow? Sophie went white. This tomorrow? The one after today? Anara said we should do it before your show, Stefan said, running a hand through his newly grown beard. We don't want to distract from it. Sophie felt sick. But how can? Don't worry about us. We announced the date change at the church, and Jacob and Adam will be here to set up the tent in no time. How was rehearsal? He hugged the 6-year-old to his brawny flank. Jacob said he could see the lights from our porch. Me too, said 8-year-old Adam, hugging the other side.
Oh, that sounds so adorable.
You do.
Stefan kissed their heads. Who'd have thought I'd have 2 little princes, he whispered. Sophie watched his father, heart in her throat. Oh, come on, tell us about your show, Stefan smiled up at her, but Sophie suddenly didn't care about her show at all. Dinner was a handsome roast with perfectly cooked broccoli, cucumber salad, and a flourless blueberry tart, and she didn't touch any of it. She sat rigid, glaring at Anara across the crumpled table as forks speared and clinked. Eat, Stefan prodded her. Next time Anara rubbed her neck, waddling, avoiding Sophie's stare. If she doesn't like it, you made what she likes, Stefan said, eyes on Sophie. Eat. Sophie didn't. Clinks petered into silence. Can I have her pork? Adam said. You and my mother were friends, weren't you? Sophie said to Anara. The winnow choked on her meat. Stefan scowled at Sophie and opened her mouth to retort, but Anara grabbed his wrist. She dabbed at dry lips with a dirty napkin. Best friends, she rasped with a smile and swallowed again for a very long time. Sophie froze over. I wonder what came between you. Anara's smile vanished and she peered down at her plate. Sophie's eyes stayed locked on her. Stefan's fork clanked against the table. Why don't you help Anara in the shop after school? Sophie waited for Adam to answer him, then saw her father looking at her. Me? Sophie blanched. Help her? Bartleby said my wife could use an extra hand, Stefan pushed. Wife? That's all Sophie heard. Not thief, not tramp, but wife. After the wedding and the show is over, he added, get you settled into a normal life. Sophie spun to Anara, expecting her to be shocked, but she was anxiously slurping cucumbers through dry lips. Father, you want me to churn butter? Build some strength in those stick arms, her father said between bites as Jacob and Adam compared biceps. But I'm famous, Sophie shrieked. I have fans. I have a statue. I can't work. Not with her. Then perhaps you should find somewhere else to live. Stefan picked a bone clean. As long as you're in this family, you'll contribute, or the boys will be happy to have your room. Sophie gasped. Now eat, he spat so sharply she had to obey.
We definitely relate
She
to
needed
her.
an ass kicking. So.
She did, and I think because of her loss of her mother, he babied her. But now that when she left, he went kind of, got over
Forced
it.
to move on.
Yeah, and when she came back, he's like, okay, I babied you.
From book 1, I mean, her mother had passed away when she was young. Like, it had been like a decade.
Yeah, but it was like she was like his sweet princess. You know what I mean?
She was her dad's
No,
girl.
because in the first book, She treated her dad like shit then.
Yeah, but
he
refused
adored
to.
her.
He put up with it.
Adored her.
As we're now, he has
He's
somebody
not.
else, and he's not putting up with it.
Yeah.
Because he moved on.
Well, she needed to get it through her head that she needed to help.
Oh
out.
yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying I think that he needed to grow up, and so did she.
Yeah.
And she's not growing up, but he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's stuck in the past.
As he watched Agatha slip her old, saggy black dress, Weeper growled suspiciously, sucking on a few trout bones across the leaky room. See, same old Agatha. She slammed the trunk on Sophie's borrowed clothes, slid it near the door, and kneeled to pet her bald, wrinkled cat. So now you can be nice again. Reaper hissed. It's me, Agatha said, trying to pet him. I haven't changed a bit. Reaper scratched her and trotted away.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Reaper.
Agatha rubbed the fresh mark on her hand between others barely healed. She flopped under her bed while Repo curled up on a moldy green corner as far away from her as he could. She rolled over and hugged her pillow. I'm happy. She listened to the rain slosh against the straw roof and spurt through a hole into her mother's black cauldron. Home, sweet home. Clink, 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 went the rain. Sophie and me. She stared at the blank, cracked wall. Clink, clink, clink. Like a sword in a sheath rubbed against the belt buckle. Clink, clink, clink. Her chest started pounding, her blood burning like lava, and she knew it was happening again. Clink, clink, clink. The black of the cauldron became the black of his boots, the straw from the ceiling his golden hair, the sky through the window his blue eyes. In her arms, the pillow became tanned muscles and flesh.
Ted Rose.
Someone help her, dear. Or someone help, dear. A voice trilled. Agatha jolted awake, gripping her sweat-stained pillow. She lurched off the bed and opened the door to see her mother lugging two baskets, one teeming with stinky roots and leaves, and the other with dead tadpoles, cockroaches, and lizards. What in the world? So you can finally teach me some potions from that school, Callus chimed, eyes bulging, and plunked a basket at Agatha's hands. Not as many patients today. We have time to brew. I told you I can't do magic anymore, Agatha snapped. Closing the door behind them. Our fingers don't glow here. Why won't you tell me anything that happened? Her mother said, picking her oily dome of black hair. The least you could do is show me the wart potion. Look, I put it all behind me. Lizards are better flesh, dear.
So she never told her mom she went to the School of Good.
What can we make with those? I forgot all that stuff. They'll go bad. Stop! Her mother stiffened. Please, Agatha begged. I don't want to talk about the school. Gently, Callus took the basket from her. When you came home, I'd never been so happy. She looked up into her daughter's eyes. But part of me worries that you gave up. Agatha stared down at the black clump shoes that her mother towed the baskets into the kitchen. You know how I feel about waste, Callus said. Let's hope our bowels can handle lizard stew. As Agatha chopped onions by torchlight, she listened to her mother hum off-key, like she did every night. Once upon a time, she loved their graveyard haven, lonely routines. She put down the knife. Mother, how do you know if you've found an ever after? Said Callus, bony hands scraping a few roaches into the cauldron. The people in fairy tales, I mean? It should say so, dear. Her mother nodded at an open storybook peeking out from underneath Agatha's bed. Agatha looked down at the last page, a blonde prince and a raven-haired princess kissing at their wedding, framed by an enchanted castle. The end. But what if two people can't see their storybook? She gazed at the princess in the prince's arms. How do you know if they were happy? If they have to ask, they probably weren't, said Mother, jabbing a roach that wouldn't drown. Agatha's eyes stayed on the prince a moment longer. She snapped the storybook shut and tossed it into the fire underneath the cauldron. About time we got rid of these like everyone else. She resumed chopping in the corner faster than before. Are you all right, dear? Callus said, hearing sniffles. Agatha dabbed her eyes. Just the onions. The rain had gone, but a harsh autumn wind raked across the cemetery, lit by 2 torches over the gates that clung to the skipping flames. As she approached the grave, her calves locked and her heart banged in her ears, begging her to stay away. Sweat swept down her back as she kneeled in the weeds and mud, her eyes closed. She had never looked. Never. With a deep breath, Sophie opened her eyes. She could barely make out the eroded butterfly on the headstone above the words, "Loving wife and mother." 2 smaller gravestones, both unmarked, flanked her mother's like wings. Fingers covered in white mittens, she picked the moss out of the cracks on one, overgrown from years of neglect. As she tore away the mold, her soiled mittens found deeper grooves in the rock, smooth and deliberate. There was something carved onto the slab. She peered closer. "Sophie?" She turned to see Agatha approach in a tattered black coat, balancing a drippy candle on a saucer. "My mother saw you from the window." Agatha crouched next to her and laid the flame in front of the graves. Sophie didn't say anything for a long while. "He thought it was our fault," she said at last, gazing at the 2 unmarked headstones. 2 boys, both born dead. How else could he explain it? She watched a blue butterfly flutter out of the darkness and nestle in the carving of her mother's decaying headstone. "All the doctors said she couldn't have more children, even your mother." Sophie paused, and smiling faintly at the blue butterfly. "One day it happened. She was so sick, no one thought it could last, but her belly still grew. The miracle child, the elders called it. Father said he'd name him Philip." Sophie turned to Agatha. "Only you can't call a girl Philip." Sophie paused, cheekbones hardening. "She left me no matter how weak She left me no matter how weak I had left her, no matter how many times she watched him walk to her friend's house and disappear inside." Sophie fought the tears as long as she could. Her friend Agatha, her best friend. How could that be? She cried bitterly into the dirty mittens. Agatha looked down and didn't say a word. "I watched her die, Aggie, broken and betrayed." Sophie turned from the grave, red-faced. "Now he'll have everything he wanted." "You can't stop him," Agatha said, touching her. Sophie recoiled. "And let him get away with that? What choice do you have?" "You think that wedding will happen?" Sophie spat. "Watch." "Sophie." "He should be the one dead." Sophie flushed with blood. "Him and his little princes. Then I'd be happy in this prison."
All right, so Dad was having an affair
With
before.
her.
Okay.
With Anara.
And she had the 2 boys.
Which are his. Dun, dun, dun.
Makes sense.
You know, I vaguely remember from the first book, if I'm not mistaken, Dad was always not home a lot. But she always thought it was because he was working.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And that's why she also never
Well, he was working.
Well, she was very spiteful in her reason for never cooking him food either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's why.
To do with it, yeah. Probably.
Her face was so horrible that Agatha froze. For the first time since they returned, she glimpsed at the deadly witch inside of her friend, yearning to unleash. Sophie saw the fear in Agatha's eyes. I'm so sorry," she stammered, turning away. I don't know what happened." Her face melted with shame. The witch was gone. "I miss her, Aggie," Sophie whispered, trembling. "I know we were supposed to have our happy ending, but I still miss my mother." Agatha hesitated, then touched her friend's shoulder. Sophie gave in to her, and Agatha held her as she sobbed. "I wish I could see her again," Sophie wept. "I'd do anything. Anything." The crooked clock tower tolled 10 times down the hill, but loud, doleful creaks threatened between each one. In each other's arms, the 2 girls watched the hunched silhouette of Mr. DeVille as he wheeled a cart past the clock with the last of the closed-up shop. Every few paces, he stopped, laboring under the weight of his forgotten storybooks until his shadow disappeared around the corner and the creaks faded away. "I just don't want to end like this, alone and forgotten," Sophie breathed. She turned to Agatha, trying to smile. "But my mother didn't have a friend like you, did she? You gave up a prince just for us to be together. To think I could make someone happy like that." Her eyes misted. I don't deserve you, Agatha. I really don't. After all I've done. Agatha was still quiet. Someone good would let this marriage happen, wouldn't they? Sophie pressed her softly. Someone as good as you. It's late, Agatha said, standing up. She held out her hand. Sophie took it limply. I still have to find a dress for the wedding. Agatha managed to smile. See? Good after all. Least I can do is look better than the bride, Sophie said, swishing ahead.
I bet
Agatha's-
she'll wear white.
I wouldn't put it past her.
I bet she will.
Agatha snorted and grabbed the torch off the gate. Wait, I'll walk you home. How lovely, Sophie said, not stopping. I can smell more of the onion soup you had for dinner. Lizard and onion soup, actually. I really don't know how we're friends. Through the groaning gate, the two slipped side by side, torches lighting up their long shadows over overgrown weeds. As they waded down the emerald hill and out of sky, a gust flew back through the cemetery, igniting a flame on a candle, dripping into the mud-stained saucer. It's okay, he'll come up if he wants to. The flame grew over the blue butterfly, settled curiously on a grave and stoked brighter. Long enough to illuminate the carvings on the two unmarked graves beside it, a swan on each, one white, the other black. With a roar, the wind lashed between them and blew the candle out.
That is the most, pathetic expression, Chewy.
Oh my gosh.
He's
over
does it
here
for
doing the puppy
attention.
eyes. Well, come here.
He does it for attention. He's not going to come up. He'll come up if he wants to. Are you going to post that on the Instagram?
I was going to show
The
them.
face we get while reading.
He's so ridiculous.
All right. So
Sophie's
he wanted to play.
There's
brothers.
Chewy. Pathetic.
Adorably pathetic.
Yeah.
So Sophie's two brothers, the ones that were on either side, had a swan, one black and one white, on their grave sites.
Oh yeah.
So that could
What
be
if they are the schoolmaster kids?
they might,
Like
because
the
they said they were
schoolmasters.
twins.
Yeah, and that one was good, one was evil.
Yeah.
But they're thousands of years old.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
What if their town ages differently? What if they're
Yeah.
magical?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or they died, but really they went
To the school.
Yeah.
to the school because they ran away or whatever.
Or not
Well,
right
no,
away,
the
they
mom,
died.
the
or-
mom died before childbirth.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe somehow they
got put into
magically transported.
I got confused
Through time and
because
space.
they said that there's a
Yeah.
grave on stone on each side of the
Yeah, that
wall.
was-
Mhm.
But then she only commented that a girl can't be named Philip, which is only one child. So I'm
Well,
confused.
Maybe
she
they
had
thought, yeah.
Oh, like a previous. Okay.
Mhm. Oh boy.
two. Yep. Do you think Agatha's gonna try and go back to the school because she misses Tedros?
Oh yeah.
Because she was
Yeah.
like laying there being like,
Dreaming
I
of
miss
him.
him.
And
I think so.
they wanted to go home so bad, and now that they're home, they're like,
Why are we here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we here? They both don't want to be there.
yeah.
Sophie
So-
has to go and work as a butter churner, and
Yeah.
Agatha's like, I can't do magic here, and Mom, you're pushing me.
But there was
I miss
there's
Tedros.
different
Yeah.
towns and stuff out that magical people came from the other classmates.
Yeah.
So who knows where they could go? I hope they go somewhere.
I think that
I
they'll leave.
think that Agatha and Tedros are meant to be, and it just might take longer.
Possibly.
And maybe Sophie will find somebody.
Well, this one says a world without princes, so I'm assuming that
Oh.
most of this book is going
There
to be...
is no Tedros.
Them together as friends.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, is probably good because, we need to grow Sophie. Her dad has clearly moved on. She needs to grow a little bit too as a person.
This might be the book
Or
where you
why.
do
I
see
mean,
a lot of growth.
Especially because even though they're back, Sophie made the story completely look like she's the good person.
Even though she really was not.
Yeah. So, yep, Sophie still needs to do some growing.
Fake news.
Fake news. All right.
Well, let us know what you guys think down below. We love reading what you say and interacting with us. And until then, I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.